Hi, beloveds. I'm so glad to be posting with you again. And I want you to know that not a day goes by where I don't think of you and send massive respect and lots of support. And I want you to know that our community here on this channel is a safe community. We understand the effects of childhood adversity, of childhood trauma. We understand, we get it, and this is a safe community, right? So hopefully you feel like you're coming home every time you tune in. So my focus is helping us gain awareness so that we can untie the knots of childhood trauma. And when we're awake, when that pressure cooker of childhood trauma has blown and we become awake and we're no longer in denial, we want to understand what went on and how does that affect my adult life, right? So today we're going to take on a big topic, one of those big knots, right? It's a big knot. This is not a small one. And this is the anger that we will feel around childhood trauma and childhood adversity. Where does that anger originate? How did that seed get planted inside of me? And how does that manifest in my adult life? Let's take a look at that, all right? So anger, when we're an adult, the childhood anger can come up like an inferno, just like this. I'll give you an example. Have you ever been out and about? Maybe you're with friends, you're with family, or maybe you're just in a coffee house and someone says something just a certain way, or they look at you just a certain way, and all of a sudden there's a flame inside of you and it turns into an inferno so quickly that you feel like you're transported into being another being. Well, guess what? You kind of are transported into being another being. And then from there, we may even say harsh things that create further drama with our friends or our family members, or, in traffic or in a coffee house, wherever, but we'll start to create a drama from there, and it doesn't feel good. And then we get on the other side of that and we think, oh, why did that happen? Right? But it happens so quickly. The ignition point is so quick that we don't have the ability to self-reflect and pause and think, whoa, where's this coming from? And then all of a sudden we're another person. We don't have the ability to step back and pause, right? Okay, let's look at that. So now, from here, from that ignition point, let's look at where that ignition point came from. Why does it go off so fast? And why can it feel like an inferno? And why does it hurt my heart so badly and my stomach gets upset? Where does that come from? Well, let's take a look and let's consider our childhood when you're very, very young, and just feel into your childhood. Feel into it. Try not to think into it, but feel how much you needed love as a child. And that's all you ask for. You were just asking for love, and you were asking for kindness, and you were asked to be seen, like the little one, like I see you. I see you, and your caregiver, you wanted your caregiver, your parents to see you, right? To love you and to protect you, literally, physically protect you. Well, think of the effect on your heart when you were rebuffed, when you were rejected, when you received a mixed message time and time and time again. And your little heart goes in so hopeful. Well, maybe this time it'll be okay. Maybe this time they'll love me. Maybe this time I'll feel accepted. Maybe this time I'll feel seen. And you're so hopeful. But over a period of time, when the caregiver or parent, in their repetitively dysfunctional approach toward you, right? When they were completely shut down, when they just did not have the ability to even see your beauty, think about what that does to the heart, your dear heart, that just wants recognition. So over a period of time, the heart will start to feel very depleted. You'll feel very depleted. You'll feel very weary. And from there, anger and resentment can build. And it's a whopper. It can be a whopper of anger and resentment. It can parallel the beauty of your heart. As much as your heart wanted to be seen and wanted love, that's the other side of that can be that much anger. And then when we get to be older, when we get to be an adult, because we didn't have that awareness as a child, because we just looked to our caregivers with purity, with the expectation that I will be loved, because that was not received, right? And you've now become an adult. When you get triggered and that ignition point goes off, it will feel like you're somebody else because you were the young one. Your central nervous system wasn't developed. You didn't understand what was going on. So you're literally transported into another part of yourself, but in an adult body. And then in the adult body, then you see the unfolding of the trigger and you feel bad. And why do we get so angry? And you feel guilty. And then you feel worse. And it's just a downward spiral of gravitational pull. Isn't it? Right? Another thing I want to mention about this is sadness, the effect of sadness. Some of us will just become completely shut down with sadness. So depleted that we didn't even have the energy to go back with hope. We didn't have the energy to get angry. And then our entire throat gets stuck and there was nobody on the other side to hear us. And that's such a depleting feeling, right? So sadness and anger can be very related. They are related, aren't they? Let's just take a big breath. And I want you to remember you're safe here. Okay? So in this understanding, we develop awareness. So the trigger, the inferno, when it goes off, we develop that ability to pause, to not create to not replicate the virus of trauma, right? Because of the trigger, once we're triggered and we just go on autopilot, the virus of the trauma is replicated and goes on, doesn't it? But now, through the awareness, we have the ability to pause and say, oh yeah, I was not seen when I was young. I was not acknowledged when I was young. Okay. Breathe, take a moment. I do have self-respect now. I am safe now, right? And just that moment, that pause, can help stop the virus so it doesn't replicate to those around you, friends, family members, people in traffic, people in the coffee house, right? Just that moment can give you enough time to breathe and self-reflect. And that will help us develop resiliency. So the resiliency is, how quickly do we recover and how quickly do we go back to our baseline of our truth today, of what we know today as an empowered adult. So we're not going to get caught in that gravitation, that gravitational pull of trauma, right? It'll suck you down and it feels heavier and dense. That's density, by the way. Density will just feel heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. And it takes you back to that whirlpool. That works too. The whirlpool of when you were younger. And it felt so heavy and so daunting. So awareness brings light. Awareness helps us untie the knots, and this is very much a collaboration. We're doing this together. Awareness helps us untie the knots so that we can get on with our journey of self-transformation. And trauma, childhood adversity, can actually be a great boon to your transformation. Once the pressure cooker is blown and once you're out of denial, then the pace can go quickly. It can go quick, right? And that's my hope on this channel, that we develop an understanding together, that we develop awareness together so that the pace quickens, so the whirlpool doesn't sink us down as much. So the ignition in the heart, that inferno, maybe it goes down to a campfire, right? And then maybe it's just smoldering embers at some point. And then maybe it just settles as ash, the ash from which you rise. I'm always interested in what you have to share. I'm always interested in your story. Will you share it with us, please? It is so helpful for others to hear your experience. And let me know if you have any questions. I work with people from all over the world, and I do this very much in the spirit of I'm reaching my hand out to you. I'm reaching my heart out to you. We're doing this together. We're collaborating together, right? And we're untying those knots of childhood adversity, childhood trauma, so that we can be empowered, heart-centered individuals that who contribute to our world. I'm sending so much love to you, so much support to you, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.